Yes, I know he isn't nearly done with his career yet, but that didn't stop me from doing this kind of video for Oliver Stone, so I figure it's fair to do one for Christopher Nolan as well. So let's get right to it. As of 2015, these are my top 10 favorite performances in a Christopher Nolan movie. Number 10. Maggie Gyllenhaal in The Dark Knight. I wish Maggie Gyllenhaal had been the person to play Rachel Dawes from the very start. I hate to say it, but Katie Holmes was probably my least favorite part of the first Batman movie. She just didn't suit the role that was written. But Maggie Gyllenhaal was a breath of fresh air. She was a mature, confident woman who you could buy as a lawyer devoting her time to cleaning up Gotham. She was a supportive help to both Harvey Dent and Bruce Wayne, while also being the only person in a crowd of people to stand up to the Joker himself. The role was great for Gyllenhaal, allowing her to show her fear and vulnerability without being a helpless damsel in distress. Her last scene with Harvey Dent is incredibly powerful, and it undermines the usual storyline that the superhero's love interest usually faces. While I wish she'd been able to do a bit more in the story outside of her love triangle with Harvey and Bruce, Gyllenhaal still deserves mention for her performance in this film. Number 9. Aaron Eckhart in The Dark Knight. Yup, Eckhart made the list too. And why not? Eckhart is almost literally required to play two different roles. One of them is the shining knight that Harvey Dent represents to the people of Gotham. He's the man who's going to take down organized crime in the city, and the people view him as their real and only hope. The other side of him is a man who is made ruthless by his isolation in the police force and also his obsession with stopping such men as the Joker. We see this side of him when he starts straight up torturing a man to find out where the Joker is, and it forces Batman to intervene against him. I won't say much, but for those of you who know the Batman franchise, you'll know what ends up happening to Harvey Dent. But I will say that throughout the entire movie, Eckhart is a very convincing actor, intimidating and charismatic at his best or worst. Harvey Dent is one of the most memorable parts of the Dark Knight film, thanks in part to Aaron Eckhart. Number 8. Matthew McConaughey in Interstellar. 5 years ago, I had nothing nice to say about this guy. But starting with Killer Joe, he's completely reinvented his career in one of the most astonishing comebacks I've ever seen. And so we have him frontlining this movie as a concerned father who is desperate to find a new planet for humanity to live on, doing it just as much for his two children as he is for the rest of planet Earth's population. Just like with Maggie Gyllenhaal, McConaughey is given a chance to be both a strong yet vulnerable figure, and this comes out the most when it concerns his children. Everything he does for them, even when he's forced to abandon them for years on end. And the time difference in space makes it all the more unsettling. There's a moment where he watches the backlog of videos sent to him from Earth, and it completely breaks his heart to get a reminder of just how much time he's lost with them. It was a very good performance in a great film. Number 7. Marion Cotillard in Inception. In a movie where focus was more often on the plot, Marion Cotillard shone as one of the more interesting characters of the film. Existing mostly as a memory in the main character's mind, she constantly pursues her husband in his dreams, thwarting his plans at every turn and haunting him with a decision he made in the past. Cotillard has to play the character of Mal as both herself in real life, as herself in the dream world, and as the manifestation of her husband's guilt. And she finds ways to portray the same character through these various lenses so that we're given more than just a stereotypical woman scorned or something else like that. As written and performed, Mal is a person who was manipulated with and thus made decisions to manipulate others as a result. It's a fascinating conflict which in turn makes the A-plot far more compelling. While Inception was filled with great actors who did good jobs, I don't think Inception was enough of an actor's film to give them much legroom. That is, of course, with the exception of Marion. Number 6. Michael Caine in The Dark Knight Rises. Michael Caine has appeared in most of Christopher Nolan's films, and he's yet to give a bad performance. But there's something about his performance in the third Batman film that just stands above the others. As you all know, Alfred Pennyworth is the loyal butler and father figure to Bruce Wayne, raising him in the aftermath of his parents' murders. Throughout Nolan's Batman trilogy, he shows complete loyalty to Bruce, but as the end is near, and Bruce is at his most vulnerable in The Dark Knight Rises, Alfred fears for Bruce's well-being even more than usual. It's in this movie where Alfred's most powerful moments arrive, when he tells Bruce the harsh truths that he had earlier hidden, where he bears his emotions and is forced to face his worst fear. I won't say anything to spoil the movie, but the scene where he is forced to own up to his failure is probably the most powerful moment of the film. This stern war veteran, this man of complete loyalty and duty, must apologize for failing the friend he loved, and it breaks his heart to do so.